There's nothing quite like that special feeling you get when you've reached a moment in a video game where every move that you now have to make from this point on has to be perfect to ensure success. And it's an even better feeling if you can actually pull it off. Now true, there are a ton of games like Animal Crossing and Harvest Moon where fanning about at your own pace is the selling point, but these other games that make you walk the razor's edge, sign me up, pal, as I love some punishment. From Dark Souls to the lost levels of Super Mario Bros., there's a ton of franchises that will push you to and beyond your breaking point. So let's get moist in the pits and set that blood to fizzy. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 challenging video game moments that made you sweat. Number 8. Being in the final 10 in Tetris 99. A mix of the old and new, Tetris 99 combines the iconic gameplay of the Tetris series with the Battle Royale format to create one of the most addictive gameplay experiences on the Nintendo Switch. Honestly, it is mad that in this day and age that a Tetris Battle Royale exists, and that it's actually brilliant. The great twist is that the longer that you survive in this PvP arena, the harder it gets, as here the other players can sabotage your board, throwing OCD fanatics into an absolute spiral with garbage lines. And so if you manage to pull on through this and make it to the final 10, you're pretty much one rogue Tetramino away from a heart attack at the best of times. And so each beep that then signifies that more terrible lines are coming your way, God, is going to hit you like Vietnam War flashbacks. It's infuriating, brilliant, tense, chaotic, and will leave you heaving by the end of it. And somehow this manages to be as tense and as relentless as other shooter-based battle royales, but for its uniqueness, this had to make the list. Number 7. Call of Duty 4 Mile High Club. While the single-player campaign of Call of Duty 4 might have been challenging, and by that I mean that is a shed load of grenades you've got there, mate, it wasn't a patch on the absolutely pace-quickening bonus level that was the Mile High Club. Now, while this short romp through a private jet might start with a humorous nod to the 1980 comedy Airplane, you won't be bloody laughing if you're trying to complete this on the hardest difficulty. With 60 seconds in your back pocket on veteran difficulty, you have to move like a whippet with a bum full of dynamite and hit with the accuracy of a surgeon. In short, you have to have the perfect run, and with so many variables at play here, that is going to mean a lot of restarting as you try to nail that run. However, the feeling at the end when you lodge that bullet between the eyes of the final villain, oh my, it is chef kiss. Number 2. Skate 2 Can You Spell Girl? On the release of its debut title in 2007, the Skate series was a breath of new life to the skateboarding genre. No longer was Tony Hawk safe just taking an easy ride with its audience, as this new franchise was grinding up the rails left, right, and center. And part of Skate's success was how it managed to blend real-life branding and aesthetics with outlandish, gravity-defying tricks that would make even thumbstick kick flippers feel like the real deal. Whether you prefer the brilliance of Skate 3's freedom to trick on anything and anywhere, or the more purist approach offered by Skate 2, there was something for everyone to enjoy. However, that doesn't mean that it was all easygoing and casual sliding, as Skate 2's Can You Spell Girl challenge was enough to make you want to pull your bloody hair out. Here, you had to complete a game of Skate against seasoned pros Eric Costin and Mike Carroll. The problem is that Carroll and Costin are almost unflappable, making it an arduous task to try to force a failure from either of them. After all, they're pros, but that did mean that taking up this test often boiled down into trying to cheese the pair to make mistakes using guides and walkthroughs. Beating this game legit should come with its own board brand deal, because you, sir, have gotten so good at this game that you might as well go pro at this point. Number 5. Fallout New Vegas Dead Money DLC. The Dead Money DLC, whilst being a little ropey in places, offered Fallout New Vegas fans an experience that not only moved on the expanded lore of the Obsidian-developed title, but also gave them a brand new and rather deadly challenge. So let's just say that you've poured your points into speech and charisma because you are an absolute ledge like myself, who prefers using my silver tongue than a six-shooter to solve my problems. Well, I have got news for you, mate. Dead Money turns any would-be charmer into an absolute chump, because this expansion places you you in a position where you have an explosive collar around your neck, meaning you can't escape, and there are loads of ghost people around every corner who want to add you to their ranks. Oh, and also there's a poisonous gas eating you alive all the time, and last time I checked, you can't reason with gas. So yes, this is less a challenge if you built a heavy-hitting character, but for those of you looking to smooth talk your way out of a situation, well, you might as well fit yourself for a coffin, because this is going to be an arduous survival challenge from the off. Number 4, GTA San Andreas, wrong side of the tracks. When a mission's failure cutscene has somehow managed to become embedded into pop culture, it has to be pretty notoriously difficult. And before I go on, I know that there will be tons of people going, "Oh, but this is easy, I did this first time." And good for you, King of the Universe. I mean, we can't all be that great at slaying challenges and pussy like you do, but you know what? For the rest of us plebs, wrong side of the tracks was an absolute nightmare. So what makes this iconic mission so difficult? Well, unfortunately, all the player can do in this mission is attempt to stay close to the train and hope that Big Smoke eliminates the targets. And when you've got a bloated walrus on the back of a scooter who shoots like he's permanently being annoyed by a nearby wasp, you have to hope, just hope, that's all you have, that you will finally find his proper target. So get ready to hear, "All you had to do was swallow the damn train, CJ," again and again and again. God, I hate this guy. Number 3, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, the Mike Tyson fight. Released when Iron Mike had captured the World Heavyweight Championship and looked to bulldoze his way through the sport's most famous division, there was no more fitting star to be on the cover of Nintendo's boxing game than him. And while the rest of your opponents in this game look tough, they all have an air of the silly about them, meaning that the fights were tense but still enjoyable. However, casting a huge shadow over this game is the imposing figure of Tyson. You knew that with each victory that you were prodding the giant, and soon he'd be knocking on your door, then through the door, and then through your bloody face. The fight with Tyson is without a doubt one of the most challenging boss fights I've ever faced, and you'll only ever see a second round if you've got the timing and pattern memorization down. He's the star of the show, and you'll certainly be seeing them should he hit you with one of his freight train-sized fists. Every move has to be perfect, but should you come out the other side, well, that, my friend, that is a feeling like nothing else. Number 2, Guitar Hero 3, Through the Fire and the Flames. In the late 2000s, rhythm games held an increasingly large share of the gaming market as retailers flocked to sell plastic peripherals with every game possible, and with the rivalry between Guitar Hero and Rock Band, it was like a nuclear arms race of songs. One of the all-time greats, and some would say best in the entire series, was Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock, whose soundtrack managed to provide a huge swathe of brilliant tracks and provide enough new bands to educate those looking for new headbangers. And one track that truly burst brains was Through the Fire and the Flames by Dragon Force, which became an instant meme when thousands of clips showing people failing the opening salvo of notes hit the internet. Now thankfully this track was not compulsory and instead an unlockable, but just seeing it there incomplete on the roster was like a big middle finger to the plastic wielding purists. Beating this is like getting a badge of honor, for indeed you have been through the fire and the flames of this hellish track. And number 1, The Lion King, Just Can't Wait to Be King. Quite possibly the most unassuming title on this list, few would have predicted that a movie tie-in game would prove challenging enough to leave kids the world over in fits of rage. But the 1994 game based on The Lion King did just that. Initially released on the SNES and the Sega Genesis, The Lion King had a ridiculously high skill barrier for a game that was indeed marketed towards children. And this is best expressed in the Can't Wait to Be King section, where the player is tasked to perform platforming perfection to progress in a level that makes Super Mario The Lost Levels look like a walk in the park. Apparently, the game's unfathomably high difficulty level was actually intentional. Developer Lewis Castle explained in a 2014 interview that the game's notoriously hard progression was actually requested by Disney to stop people being able to complete the game during a blockbuster rental period. Pretty gross that, isn't it? But if you feel like you can take on this beast, then you'll be pleased to know that you can now do so on consoles thanks to a 2019 re-release. Good luck, mate. And there we go, those were 8 challenging video game moments that made you sweat. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below, as well as any other entries you would have included, because who knows, I might come back and do a commenters edition of this further down the line. If you want to chat to me further about video games, music, TV, and anything else, you can do so over on Twitter at RetroJ with a 0. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. We detailed today about challenging video game moments, things that really pushed us to our limit, but you know what? We persevered and we stuck it through and we came out the other side smiling, albeit a lot thinner because we just sweated off a load of weight through stress. But still, what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of things in our life that will get us to those points. They will feel like they are pushing us beyond our breaking point, but I just want to say that is why it's very okay for you to take a step back every once in a while, take the foot of the gas and just realize what's going on in your world. You don't always have to push yourself so hard. Be kind to yourself instead of driving yourself into the ground, okay? And if you feel like things are getting too much for you and you're wasting all of your energy because you feel like you have to, then remember, you can speak to people about this and hopefully share your problems and manage some of that stress. I hope that you're looking after yourself, being kind to yourself as best you can. You are a big ledge in my eyes. As always, I've been Jules. You have indeed been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.